The moment you realize that this person is manipulating you, you must cut them out of your life. That the bully's voice is not the voice you need to listen to. Bullies are somewhat a little bit jealous of you, or like they see something in you that they wish they had. Every time she sees you, it's never about you. She'll never ask you how you are. People who really love and care about you will take the time to get to know you. Hello everybody, it's me, sarahxmiracle, your miracle mom, and we are going to be starting a series called How to Deal. And we have a whole list of topics that are literally from the YouTube search bar when you type how to deal, okay? And the first one on this list is how to deal with toxic people. Now, I looked up this definition of toxic people, and apparently toxic people are any kind of person that adds a negative influence, energy, or impact on your life and feels like they're sucking from you. Of course, in my life, I'm not that old, but I'm older than most of you who are watching here. I have dealt with many toxic people, and I just want to share my experiences of different types of toxic people that you might come across. And if you find them familiar, I hope this helps you deal with them, because we need less negativity, less toxicity in our life. The first person that I can think of, but I'm just thinking of my life growing up as a toxic person, is the bully. When I was secondary 2 or 3, now I was very tall in school, so I was very obvious. I'm like 173, okay? And because I'm so obvious, I don't know why, I was picked on by some older girls who were just 1 year above, and I never did anything to them. They just came up to me, and they just came up to me to my face, and they just went, "Bitch." And I'm like, what did I do to you? I'm like this innocent like Sec 2 girl. And by the way, this senior was quite prominent. I will not name who she is, but she was like notorious in her own right. You know, they're like the cool gangs. Yeah, she was like one of like the cool girls. And she like come up to me and just like, "Bitch." And I'm like, I'm queuing up for food. I'm like, why you call me bitch? Like, I'm in a Christian girls' school, and this kind of stuff happens, okay? So this could happen anywhere. If it can happen in a Christian girls' school, it can happen anywhere. I wish that at that time in Sec 2, I had someone to tell me what to do about this person. And I didn't even dare to tell like my parents. I think some of my friends knew, because my friends who were with me are like, why is she picking on you? Like, they're all like so confused. But we're all like these younger girls, right? And so you have a Sec 3 picking on you as a Sec 2. Now that I'm older and I look back on that experience, and because, you know, Leon, if you followed us on TikTok, you see that like he's been dealing with like bullies at 7, right? And he's a primary 6 bullying him. And I feel like the bully is one of the first things that you have to learn how to deal with. And I'm going to tell it to you right now, right? That the bully's voice is not the voice you need to listen to. And that is where you have to learn how to define the voices in your life that speak into your heart, and learn how to guard out voices that do not matter, are in fact intentionally trying to negate your self-worth and self-confidence. Bullies are somewhat a little bit jealous of you, or like they see something in you that they wish they had. And the reason why they're trying to like give you negativity is because they're trying to negate all that positivity that they see in you that they're actually jealous of. If you have someone like that in your life, like me, right, random like senior or random person you don't know, you do not deserve this, you need to tell yourself, no weapon formed against me can prosper. This is not something that I deserve to listen to. And in fact, you need to oppose it with the truth. The truth is that I am loved and I'm worthy, and I have the right to be myself. I don't need to feel like this bully is telling me like, you look stupid, you look dumb. They're probably gonna like pick on some aspect of you, okay? You need to know that you have every right to be yourself. And if a bully is coming up to you to criticize you for a specific aspect of your life or your personality, that is not the voice you need to listen to. You need to go back to the people who love you, right? Your parents, your friends, God, you know, your community. Remember what they say about you, right? That you are awesome, you are worthy, you are amazing, you are talented, you are beautiful, you have the ability to do what you need to do, right? People who really love and care about you will take the time to get to know you. And even if you're imperfect and you have insecurities, and you know, you're obviously no one's perfect, they will still have the grace to love you and accept you, right? So these are the people you need to listen to. I believe that this will really help you, especially if you're facing a bully situation where you don't deserve it. Now, nobody deserves to be bullied, okay? So if you feel you can't deal with it, you must also seek help. So the mistake that I made was that I didn't really know how to tell anybody about it, and it just felt so difficult to explain. But it really helps you to try and articulate it, because if you start to articulate it, then you start to realize, how does this bully make you feel? For example, the bully makes me feel small. The bully makes me feel insignificant. The bully makes me feel worthless. And once you can articulate how it makes you feel, then you can come up with statements and truths that can go against this, right? I am not small. I am important in the life of my mom and my dad, right? I am not worthless. I have a value and I bring joy and I help out with my community and my friends, you know, and I have talents. I am not worthless and I'm not insignificant. I am making a difference in this world. So when you can start to identify the things that the bully makes you feel, then you can come up with statements and start to receive love from other people that allows you to then negate and actually ignore all these bullies. So now that I'm older and now that we also live in a digital age, bullying can also come in the form of online comments, and sometimes this can be even more embarrassing because you feel like everyone can see the comments on your post or on your feed or whatever it is. And the one thing I can advise to you is that you literally need to not read them, because your eyes are the window to your heart. If you let yourself see things negatively, right, it will basically enter your mind and go into your heart and affect you. And that's why I am not afraid to delete like negative comments or comments that are hateful or hurtful on my own like platform. And I have every right to do that, by the way. But you're not even putting your name or your face. You are like a nameless, faceless coward. If you wouldn't dare to go up to a person and say this to their face, you should not be writing a negative comment like that, because it's so easy to type a comment and bring down somebody, right? And it's so much more difficult for someone to raise themselves back up to the point that they were. So please don't do that. I mean, I'm just appealing to you as Miracle Mom here, right, for the community, right? Okay, so I don't lecture you, I don't lecture you, I don't lecture you. But if you are the one receiving these negative comments, the best thing you can do is delete them and ignore them. Like when I put out a piece of content that stands for something, of course there are people who will be like on the other side of it, right? But just because you're on the other side of it, that doesn't give you the right to say that your view is more important than my view. And of course, report those accounts, take screenshots and send it to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whoever it is, right? They have to be reported. These people need to deal with the consequences of their negativity. Other types of toxic people, the manipulator. Now, the manipulator is somebody who in the beginning can seem to be like a nice person, but they're actually out to get something from you, or they eventually want some other hidden agenda and you don't even know. Now, I will tell you a story of a manipulator so you know how bad this can be. So when I was first starting out in my music career, I was also doing a lot of networking events for my design business, which I run with my husband last time. I entered this women's networking group, and in part of this group, there was this person who said she was a photographer and said, oh, I would love to like shoot photos for you, you know. And so I organized the shoot. I paid for the studio, I paid for the makeup artist. So she shot photos, which were nice photos. And then I was having a concert coming up and I wanted to use it for the concert publicity. And then so I used it because she shot the photos for me, we sent it, and I thought she was just doing me a favor, and she also wanted for portfolio, right? And then she suddenly said, I'm going to have to bill you for these photos because you're using it for publicity. I was just like, aren't all photos for publicity? What do you mean? I don't just put like a photo in my computer and don't show it to anybody, right? To cut the long story short, she manipulated me into thinking that she was going to help me, and then demanded by saying that she had written it somewhere in an email that it was, you know, only for like, don't know what kind of purposes. And she demanded $3,000 from me. So in this case, I did not know what to do, and I asked my mom what I should do. It was really horrible. I was only about like 24 at the time. Like, I'm just like, I'm barely earning, like $3,000 is more than like a monthly salary, you know. My mom was like, this kind of people have just nothing better to do with her life, like just try, you know, get money out of someone like you, like, you know, obviously take advantage, right? And thankfully, my mom decided to pay it off, and my mom said, I'm going to pay it off for you to learn this lesson, just to never deal with this kind of toxic people, like never deal with this kind of snakes in your life. So I want to say thanks to my mom, because at that point she knew I was stuck in this situation. This person was harassing me for money and the publicity already went out. And so my mom was like, I'm going to pay this off for you, but only so that you learn like how to identify these people, and you have to be much more careful in how you deal with people in the future, like cut off this kind of people, you know. So manipulators can happen when you are in a sense more vulnerable, you're like more gullible, you don't really know what is happening. And it's very sad because we don't realize, you know, the real face, right? They will not surface until a certain incident or something else happens. The moment you realize that this person is manipulating you, you must cut them out of your life, because manipulators will just keep on doing the same thing to you. Yeah, so this was in a more like a work kind of context. It's to do with like a deliverable or like a piece of work. But I mean, I also felt emotionally manipulated because I thought this person was my friend. I thought that she was like a new friend. I just felt cheated, right, of my emotions. That kind of emotional manipulation is almost the worst. I mean, in this case, this person eventually, not that difficult for me to cut her out from my life, but you know, sometimes there are people who, I mean, I like longer term, and I would say that I'm very blessed that I haven't had a manipulative friend who manipulated me as a friend and then like, you know, used me to get something out of it, or like status or like cool gangness or whatever. I'm very blessed that I never had that kind of manipulation in my life. But some signs that you are being manipulated, right, or like that a friend is manipulating you. One is that they may or may not have the same story that they're telling to different people. And so if you realize that this person, that they say one thing to another person, then they say something to you, or like they keep changing what they say. So like the standard of what they say, they keep changing it. Okay, another work example. They'll give you like, okay, we're gonna agree to this term for you to come and do this thing. Okay, but then the moment you agree, right, they say, oh wait, but like I actually also need you to do this other thing. Like they have more and more little like requests along the way, and you're just like, wait, I thought I already agreed to do this one thing, and then suddenly it's becoming more and more and more. Or like they're cutting you down, like we agree on this price on this thing, and they're like, no, actually because of this, and then they give you another reason to say that's why they cannot pay you that, and then they cut you down, and then you're only left with this little tiny bit of thing at the back, right at the end. This is all to do with work, but the principle in friendship is the same, right? If like they are changing what they say all the time, they're changing their standards, they're like moving things all the time, not a good friend. I would advise you get out of that friendship. Don't even bother. Manipulator. So bully, manipulator. There's a third kind, which is just that negative friend. That friend who basically complains to you about everything all the time. Everything is about her life. Everything is about how bad her life is. Every time she sees you, it's never about you. She'll never ask you how you are. She'll basically start telling you and like downloading it with you like the most negative thing that happened in all her life. And then you realize after a few instances of this that your friendship is really not based anymore on you guys having fun or hanging out, or like she caring about your life and how you feel, but you having to keep on like comforting her and giving her advice and trying to help her deal with her negativity and her stuff. I've had definitely people like that in my life. It's sad because sometimes these friends were not like that. Sometimes they were friends that you had made when you were in like a younger stage of your life, you know, and you guys were much better. But then somehow, you know, as they get older, like stuff happens to them and then they just become so negative. And it's really sad because it is not your job to make them feel happy. It's not your job to solve their problems. But yet on the other hand, they keep coming to you. It's your individual responsibility to know how to deal with negativity. But when you are so full of negativity that you are exuding it and oozing it and pushing it onto other people, right? People are going to be repelled by you and eventually not want to be your friend. Or you're going to have relationships that drift further and further apart and you're not going to know why. So if you are that kind of person, please stay up for my next video. But if your friend is that kind of person, the best thing you can do is to actually share with the person how you feel about their negativity. Because if this friend means something to you and you don't want to lose their friendship, you can say, hey friend, you know, I noticed the last few times we've been talking, like everything has been about you and like how, you know, you've been feeling really down and upset and negative and complaining about all these things. Like, you know, do you think that this is good in the long term? Because I'm starting to feel a lot of what we talk about is about you and your negative feelings, and I don't even really get a chance to share about my life and what's going on with me. It's starting to make me feel quite uncomfortable, right? I think you can kind of say that because you need to be honest with this friend. If you just let the friend keep talking, right, you know what? You are feeding into her negativity, right? Because it's like gossip. A person who talks must also have a person who listens. So if you are listening to her negativity and you are allowing her to talk, you're actually letting her grow the negativity. So you can't do that. You have to tell her like, hey, how about this? Like, you know, I can be your like negativity, like accountability partner or something, you know? Every time you start being super negative about something, I'm going to remind you and I'll say like, hey, negativity alert. Like, you know, how about we look at the bright side? Like, is there something we can be grateful for, right? Because the only way to overcome negativity is to actually be grateful, right? Which is another video on its own, but you need to at least help your friend to see that there are other ways to look at a situation and not always look at the negative side. But like I said, it is not your responsibility. You are not a trained counselor. You are not a psychologist or psychiatrist, right? So if it comes to the point where you can't deal with your friend's negativity and you've already told her, you've tried to keep her accountable and she's still sucking up all that negative energy, slowly distance yourself. You cannot cut this friend out overnight, but over time, meet this person less, find other friends who add value to your life, which is a give and take. Whereas a negative person will always keep taking. They will just keep taking your energy. It's always about their problems, always about their lives. They'll say, oh yeah, can you pray for me? Oh yeah, can you please help me? Like, I really need this thing. You will know this person when you come across this person, because you'll realize that after a while, everything's about them and their problems. So you have to slowly distance yourself from them. Not saying that you cannot be friendly and you cannot say hi to them, but you don't want to invest in this relationship anymore. So I've covered 3 different types of toxic people already, and I really hope this helps. If you have even more different types of toxic people, I don't know whether they are. Yes, you can leave a comment below so that I can maybe deal with it in another video. So we're going to be doing this series of how to deal, right? From me, your miracle mom. I really hope you guys can subscribe. If you like the series, you can give us more suggestions on what other topics of how to deal with whatever, and we'll be super happy to share, okay? So we're gonna do these videos like every week. It's gonna be a series, and I really hope you guys will subscribe, turn on notifications. You can follow me as well on my other social media platforms. And till the next video, I'm Sarah X Miracle, your miracle mom.